65% of youth report being extremely distressed because of their exposure to gun violence in their communities. Gun violence in communities affects school-age children. From the moment they leave the house for school, throughout their school day until they return home. Gun violence is a constant threat. Children know it, they feel it, and it's had an emotional impact on them. The children and teachers at St. James School in North Philadelphia talk about their experience with gun violence.
Can't get a day without gun violence because there's always something happening with gun violence. I know that a bunch of kids died from gun violence and stuff, and I think it's really bad because every day I have to wake up and watch the news and see how someone died overnight and it was a kid or something, and kids they don't get a chance to live their life and stuff because they're dying at young age.
I know that it's affected our city tremendously, and it's crazy. And there's too much of it going on nowadays. It makes me feel very unsafe, and it's causing a lot of trauma to our younger kids because they're losing friends at an early age, losing brothers, sisters, and just make me feel very unsafe. My school, they talk about gun violence a lot because of the neighborhood that it's in. It happens more oftenly, and when they talk about it, they just talk about how it affects people, and also the counselors in my school try to have one-on-one talks with people because they could be facing trauma or anything from a lot of gun violence that's going on.
Community-based, it's traumatic. So what I'm seeing as a practitioner, I see a lot of kids who are traumatized by gun violence, even if it's just hearing gunshots. But I have recently worked with kids who have had people who have been directly impacted by people in their family getting shot. So I'm seeing a lot of trauma. I'm seeing anxiety, which can lead to depression.
Dr. Levi Lee talks about working with students and how often the topic of gun violence comes up while working at St. James School.
Well, I've been working at St. James for roughly 4 to 5 years, and honestly, I want to say at least once or twice a week from multiple students from the 4th all the way to the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, it is due to, unfortunately, possibly a death of a loved one or a family member that came across an altercation where there were firearms involved, and it comes from multiple people. Sometimes the family will call me, sometimes the students will come up to me to talk about the problem, or sometimes you can just tell that you might have a student come in and they're not their regular selves, so that will prompt me to talk to them. And oftentimes you'll be surprised that sometimes students want somebody to talk to. And once you ask them a question, something as simple as, what's going on, or is anything I can help you with, they break down and they express their story.
Yeah, so we talk a lot with not just our students, but our community members and everything, and about love. And that it's not, I think we take love for granted, and we put it in this category of Hallmark cards and Valentine's or even physical pleasure and all this other stuff. But acts of love, of understanding, I think are huge in a world where people don't think that they have to understand one another. That disagreement is fine, but there's a way to disagree that still honors the other person and allows you to honor yourself without writing them off. And that's an act of love. It's an act of listening to somebody else and not needing to always be right, not needing to win, and not needing to force yourself. So I think little things like that.
Organizations like the Anti-Violence Partnership of Philadelphia offers programs that help individuals who have experienced gun violence process the trauma.
Agencies to provide specific grief support for parents of murdered children. AVP itself was established as a 501c3 nonprofit organization in 1983. We've been around. We'll be entering our 40th year next year. We are a nonprofit victim service agency. We are one of 7 victim service agencies in the city of Philadelphia. We are the designated victim service agency for West and Southwest Philadelphia. So in addition to providing immediate victim support services, we also take a much more integrated approach to violence. We provide individual professional therapy. We are one of very few organizations in Philadelphia to do that. So you don't need any insurance, you don't need proof of citizenship. We provide free therapy to victims of violence and co-victims of homicide. We also are in the schools. We have partnerships with approximately 40 schools throughout Philadelphia, and that's where our violence prevention work. We work with students. We provide counseling to students. We provide social and emotional learning curriculums, and we also do community engagement, community involvement activities.